join me in welcoming Caroline Logan.
Thank you. So much.
So this is a live Q&A. So we would love for you to, we encourage you, not love to, we encourage you to think of questions that you would absolutely love to ask Caroline. She has kindly offered to share her journey with us and her wisdom. So this is your time to actually soak up all her knowledge. So as we're going through her journey and what does actually climbing the Cringe Mountain look like, please feel free to think of any questions, raise your hand. We'll be going back and forth between myself and the audience. There is no such thing as a silly question. You'll be surprised how often those silly questions are what resonates the most with others in the room, and you're never alone in anything that is on your mind. And you're like, oh, I really wonder if she could tell us more about that. So please think of questions, and if there's anything, raise your hand and we'll go to you. So Caroline, I guess the one thing I didn't actually mention in your introduction is that you're also a Business Launchpad alumni.
Yes.
So tell us about tell us about how did you find Business Launchpad in the first place? What has that journey looked like? What did you do with Business Launchpad, and how has that impacted your journey?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Such a pleasure. Hi. So great to be here. Thank you for coming out on a Wednesday morning. Hopefully this will be valuable to you. And as mentioned, just feel free to answer any questions, anything that is on your minds. I'm here to kind of share from my experience. Yeah. So, so I'm a Business Launchpad alumni, which basically means that I have been part of the Business Launchpad program, which was way back over there, which is around 2012 times. I found Business Launchpad because at the time I was actually looking for opportunities to really kind of develop myself, to build my confidence. And I think I went to a networking event. So networking events are actually quite important in terms of like just finding out sort of, what's in the space, what's in the sector, how can you connect with other people, what kind of opportunities are out there. So I think there was somebody that was giving a presentation at the time, and so that's how I learned about Business Launchpad. And then I went on the program, and I had a mentor as well. She's passed away now, God rest her soul, but she made such an impact on my life, So the program actually helped me understand that what I was bringing in terms of She's You at the time, which was very much a seed, was actually something that could be quite impactful. And then I actually started working for Business Launchpad. So, the CEO at the time, Colin, he's also passed away, God rest his soul. But he believed in me, he saw something in me, and he gave me an opportunity. And because I was also looking for work and also seeing how I could kind of use my skills, and the business at the time wasn't generating finances, it was almost kind of like a no-brainer. And so I ended up sort of working as a In fact, I did very, very, very many different things. I had a couple of different hats whilst I was here. I was here for about 5 years, and I did various different things. But I think it's important to put yourself out there sometimes. You don't know what you're good at unless you try different things, right? So I started doing a lot of marketing, outreach work, telling people, young people, about Business Launchpad at the time. I did a lot of talks in job centres and really trying to get people onto the programme. But during that period of time, actually, is when I really was able to connect with a lot of interesting people. And we can get into that as well, just in terms of, call it human currency, which is what Felicia actually shared with me some years ago. So I take that term from her, Felicia, the CEO. So Business Launchpad has been absolutely pivotal in my journey. Obviously, I'm back here many, many years on because of the power of relationship, but also because I recognize where my foundations were, and it's always important to kind of give back and also just recognize, how far you've come, and also just show that appreciation and pay it forward as well. So yeah, it's been a real journey. I call them the BLP family. You guys are like my family. So it's been a real journey. But yeah, thanks to the BLP crew.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. You're very much family.
Yeah.
And later on, when you go to the advice clinics, when you walk through the corridor, look on the left, you actually see Caroline in our Hall of Fame of Founders and Alumni. So she's doing incredible things, and we're so privileged and glad to have you here today.
No, thank you.
Tell us about She's You.
Yeah.
How did that start, and what inspired you to start that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Anyone here from South London? South London, yeah. She said, do. You've quite a lot of you. Okay, yes. I was born and raised in Lewisham. Yes. We love it. We love it. Shout out to everybody else that's not from South London. It's all right. Yeah. And then, so yeah, born and raised in Lewisham from some Nigerian heritage, right? And so education is really important, as anybody might know that has Nigerian friends or family. And I went to Liverpool University. So for me at the time, I was like, I'm going there to get a good education. I went to study journalism. But a lot of my friends stayed in London. It's like, oh, why are you going all the way over there? It's like so far, right? But I was like, no, I'm going there because I need to get a good education. It's important. But what I found at the time was that it was really, really difficult to try and find people that looked like me in my tribe of people, right? Because at the time, Liverpool was predominantly, I think there was an incident actually with a young man that got stabbed, a black young man at the time. And so, the racial kind of stuff there was quite rife at the time. But for me, I couldn't find any sort of people that looked like me that I could really identify with, especially women, right? So people that were almost like role models. So I found it really difficult, when you're making that transition in life, where you're trying to kind of seek guidance and seek some sort of support. And you're kind of like, I just need to speak to someone, but there was literally nobody there, right? And so I was having a conversation with my friends who I met during, what's those things? The freshers fairs at uni. Yeah, where you kind of just try everything that you've never tried before. So I went to women's basketball, never done basketball in my life, right? But I'm like, yeah, let me go try this thing. So I went there and I met a girl. She was also from South London. This is in Liverpool, yeah? So she ended up being a really good friend of mine and we founded She Is You together. But the reason why we wanted to start it is because we really wanted to provide a platform for people that look like us, so they didn't have to go through what we went through, where you're just trying to can't really navigate what's going on here. I know I'm here for my education. I know the social setting is good, but even past when I graduate, what's life going to look like? What does the world of work look like? And so we were like, we got to plant something or do something for people that look like us so they don't have to go through what we went through. I don't know why we felt like we could kind of do something like that at the time, but sometimes you just recognize that sometimes things are bigger than yourself and you just feel like, oh, let me just use what's been a painful experience for me and make it into something purposeful. And so that's really where the seed of She Is You was planted, and she was a person that I co-founded it with. So that was back in, that was before 2012. And then when we graduated, we actually started it in Croydon and did our first launch event. And the rest is history. We find ourselves here today. So, yeah.
I think you kind of started answering my next question, but I think many people wait to start a business, to start an idea until they feel ready.
Yeah.
Did you feel ready? And where was your confidence at when you were starting She Is You?
Yeah. So actually, I'll be honest, at the time, there was a major thing that was going on in terms of procrastination, right? So I'm sure some of us can relate to that. So it was just stalling on the idea, thinking I need to have this, I need to have that, I need to have the logo or the name. The name kind of went through a couple of revisions as well, and just stalling for a good couple of years, if I'm honest with you. But then it got to a point where I was like, actually, this is not about me. It's actually about the people, your clients, the people that you're there to serve through your business, right? So for me, it kind of was like, let's just do what we can with what we have. What resources do we have? Who do we know? And let's just make it happen. And through that step, I guess that was also the first, what I didn't realize now, that's probably the first overcoming the cringe, because it was very much just like, we don't know what we're doing. All we know is that we've got this big vision and we know we want to help people, right? So let's just use what we can and just make a start. Let's just launch. And so that's what we did. We invited the local councillor. She came to give a talk. There was other people in the room giving sort of creative expressions and spoken word and things like that. And we just started. But I think it was very much the thought of, we don't know how it's going to look. We don't know how it's going to play out. But actually, the bigger picture is what's really important here. Let's just start with that in mind. And so that's really where the step of faith came in. And yeah, from that time, a lot of people were just gravitating to what we were doing at the time. And I must say, back then, the women empowerment thing at the moment is quite popular. But the reason why I started it back then, because it was pretty much non-existent. Yeah. So we're talking about 2011, 2012 times. And so it was really, really important for us to make something happen at the time. So that's what happened. I can't believe it's raining like this. Sorry. Oh my gosh. It's actually, yeah, it just shifts the mood. It's like, it's May. Sorry, British weather. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, we have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Question from me.
Hello.
I'm Debbie. So I kind of two questions, one leading the other.
Yeah.
So first one is, when you started it,
Yes.
was the plan to be more of a charitable or profit making, and how has that evolved?
Yeah, that's a really good question. When I started it, the plan was to be, more charity based, right? So at the moment, it's a community interest company, but the plan at the time was to be more charity based. However, I think over time, I've recognized the importance of also trying to be sustainable as a business, where you're not solely reliant on grant funding, for example. Does anybody here do charities or in that social enterprise sector? Okay, yeah. So sometimes there's like a small pot of funding and a lot of people are trying to get that funding. And so it can limit sort of what you want to do. But I've almost had to transition a little bit over time and be more commercial focused. So doing a lot of sessions within not only schools and colleges, but more corporate settings where they're able to also see the value in what we're doing. So it's like workshops, personal development, professional development, and they're able to pay a fee, which allows us to be able to do more and not be reliant on funding so much. Yeah, so that's only happened, I would say, within the last 5 years. At the start, it was very much almost like it's a passion project. It was like, trying to play it down as a passion project. But over time, I recognized that actually it's actually a business. And so when I started to see it through that lens, is when I was able to think more about how to generate more finances in order for us to reach more people as well. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but as you say, reach more people.
Yeah.
You expanded your work to going across to another continent,
Yeah.
helping young women. Was that a part of your goal?
Bless you.
Thank you. Based on your background, that could have been a part of your long-term goals, but did you see that happening?
Yeah. So
Was that a business expense too?
it was. Yeah, it was. But you see, one of the things I've learned is that there are some things that can be expensive at the time, but the value that it brings back to you can almost, it compensates for that expense. So even now, to your point, I'll get to your question, but when I first started out, I was doing quite a lot of free work. But actually, that free work has come back and it has brought returns. So I think sometimes it's also about placing. I know sometimes in this climate, you can't always do stuff for free. And I'm not saying that you should ever sort of dumb down your value. However, there are opportunities that you identify, like, actually, if I do this, this can generate this. Or there isn't a monetary value or monetary gain. However, you're able to connect with other people, like your audience. You're able to connect with other clients and partners and stuff like that. So even though it was an expense, what it did for me when I went to Ghana, so what she's saying is that we expanded into Ghana last year. And I will say that at the very start, I did have plans of making it global. And so we're talking about 12 years later, yeah? And so that's another thing when it comes to the journey, is that sometimes things don't always happen overnight. But like I said, it's always important to keep that sort of bigger picture in sight. So 12 years later, and it could be faster for a lot of you, but for me, it did happen a lot later down the line, where we're now able to go into other countries and on other continents, as you mentioned. It was a massive expense, but the reach was absolutely phenomenal. And what I was able to do was also establish a team over there, which allows us to impact more women and girls in that part of the world where what we're doing is actually really, really important as well. So yes, it was an expense, but the expense has kind of returned some good value as well as we continue to build. Yeah.
Like the human currency.
Exactly. Yeah. The human currency.
I'm curious, in those early days.
Oh, she had a question to donations.
Yeah.
So basically, let's say that, because I have a creative collective, and it's like there's like 5 people, that main people that do the work in it, but like, how do you like make sure that everybody stays motivated, even though we might not be making money right now?
Yeah, that is really important. Do you know one of the things that I do, yeah, is I keep something called it's like capturing like your small wins. It's really, really important in terms of motivation. So sometimes people think it's when I get the like £1 million investment, that's when I'm going to be happy. But actually, you find that it's not when you get the thing or when you get to the destination. It's all the little things that happen like before that. Those little small wins, those little small, okay, I managed to get 2K here or 5,000 or 10,000, I got a client, or we've managed to, get this exposure or that exposure. Just I like writing things down. So I do have like a journal, but there's also an app that I use called Day One, which is basically, is it called Day One? One Day. One or two. Yeah. And what I do, we'll come to you. What I do is basically I log like my wins on a specific day. So for example, today's the 13th of May. What the app does is that it returns back to you that reminder of what you put into this day a year later. So it's almost kind of prompting you to remember, oh, this is what happened here, this is what happened here. Like I capture everything, not to show people, but for my own personal motivation. Does that make sense? So just capturing those things helps when those moments where, you've got the setback or you've got the rejection, just reminds you, now, let me keep going, yeah? And it's not always like happy moments as well. Like we all know life, right? Life happens. And especially in business, it can be really tricky. There's up moments and down moments. But I think when you can have a reminder or a log that says to you, actually, I did this, I did that, it just helps, yeah? So hopefully that's something you can try doing if you're not doing it already. Yeah, your pleasure.
Day one.
Yeah, you got it. It's what, Day One? Yeah, it's called Day One.
Sounds like such a nice.
Yeah, it's called Day One. I think it's like a blue and white logo. Yeah.
Can I ask you, how did you get people to know you?
No. Okay. So this.
How many lows do you have?
She's stealing my question.
Yeah, she's stealing your question. Do you know what? How I got people to know me? It's doing things like this. It's overcoming the cringe. And you know what? My mum would be so surprised. I used to be really, really shy. And quite introverted, yeah? Any introverts here? Yeah, I'm on my own. A little bit ambivert, bit introvert, extrovert. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But you know what? And we spoke about this on the Launchpad Live last week. It's actually that thing called confidence, right? And that cringy thing where you're trying to like get yourself out there, but you feel like, it's a little bit cringy. What I found is that actually the confidence happens when you step into the moment and when you recognize your value and what you have to bring, right, to the table. Does that make sense? So for me, how I was able to get people and get clients is I just showed up. I was very active in physical settings. LinkedIn, I had a presence on LinkedIn as well, and was just connecting with people, going to different events, being a part of different communities. And so people would know about She Is You because it's Caroline. It's like, oh, how do you hear about, Caroline. And so that's how I became known in the space. And that's how I was able to get referrals and different clients. It's just literally getting over that little like gremlin that's always like, what are you doing? Why are you here? But actually recognizing that I've got to be here if I want to be known and for the business to grow as well. So it was very, very uncomfortable at the start. But as you go, people get to know you. And people start to refer you. Your name goes before you as well, right? So you don't always have to be present. Do you know what I mean? Like the reputation is already there. So I just went to a lot of things. I went to a lot of events and just would talk to people.
Were you doing everything by yourself, or you had help?
At the start, very much myself. Yeah. At the start, it was very much, yeah. But, it does get to a point where you can almost replicate yourself, right? So you can have other people that can be you, if that makes sense. Obviously, they're not you, but when you grow your team, they can all kind of do the outreach and stuff for you. But I think as a founder, I think it is actually quite important to be seen at the very start because you hold the vision. You know what it is about. Other people might not be able to interpret what it is that you see like you do. You know what I mean? Like you are your own kind of, you are like gold dust. You are like the toolbox. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So you have to kind of overcome that little like cringy bit to just be like, okay, let me just do the thing. Let me just talk to people. And then as you grow, hopefully you can kind of gradually start to take a back seat and your work can speak for itself.
Can I
Yeah.
ask one last thing?
Yeah.
At the events, as you were saying, how would you present yourself?
At the events.
Yeah.
So when it comes to networking, I would always very much kind of the position I would take is less about what can I get from you and more about how can I add value to you.
Okay.
Yeah, because people can always tell when you're just like, oh, they're just trying to, get something. But networking events, try and approach it like a conversation, approach it like a conversation and listen to people, listen to what the person's saying. Even though you think, oh my gosh, if I can get this client, it's like, this is me. But, you just want to just be human, don't be awkward and weird, it's just weird, right? But just think about what can I add and what do I want to learn from this person as opposed to, oh, can I? And then you can do the exchange of like the contact or whatever at the end. Do you see what I mean? So I kind of would approach it more from you introduce yourself, maybe ask them a question. It doesn't have to be about, oh, what do you do, whatever. It could be anything, right? It doesn't have to be who are you, what do you do. It can be anything. You can maybe even compliment them on something or something that they heard or whatever, right? And then just let the conversation naturally flow. And then think more from what can I add? Or is there a way that, is there something I can contribute to what they're doing? And then you can make that exchange or that contact and just make it less about, I want to get something from you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that just sometimes how do you make this, switch?
Yeah.
That kind of topic without sounding awkward and
Yeah.
I need you to listen to me.
Yeah.
In that way. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
We can probably go into like networking techniques and stuff, maybe, because there is a skill to it. So we can probably talk about that separately. But definitely, I would say the more you do it and the more you talk to people, you will find your flow. You will find what's authentic to you. And then just believe in that. Don't overthink it. Just think about it, just having a conversation with someone. Yeah? Don't overthink it too much if you can.
No,
Yeah.
900%. It's just because sometimes people, they seem like not being interested or
I know.
questioning, maybe because the introvert and they just don't care, so you're just there.
Yeah. Okay. So that is also understanding how to discern the vibe. Do you know what I mean? So if they're not interested, that's absolutely fine. Just move on. Because I hear you. Sometimes you can be talking to someone, and you can tell like it's not landing, and they're probably not even like into what you're doing. That's okay. You can just gradually be like, okay, so I'm just gonna just find something that you're going to do, right? And then just move on. Yeah.
Still about some water.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to have some water. So lovely to meet you. Thank you. And then just keep it moving. Yeah. It's like that's actually true. How to exit an awkward conversation is actually, I think we've all been through it. So, but yeah, it's one of those, don't be afraid to leave if you feel like it's not resonating with them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I think on the back of this, I actually wanted to ask a question around, I think it's young founders,
Yeah.
young people, rejection, disappointment, things
Yeah.
not going to plan.
Yeah.
It's part of the journey.
Yeah.
How do you handle those moments, or how have you handled those moments?
Yeah.
And how do you get yourself back up and persevere?
Yeah. So if I'm honest with you, rejection has been a real thing on my journey of life and in business. And I think there's probably many of you that can also relate with that. What I will say, what rejection has actually done for me, which I didn't understand at the time, is that it's built this thing called resilience within me, like a muscle called resilience, like just the ability to be able to fight back. So I'm one of those people who almost don't really take no for an answer. So I feel like if someone says no to me, it means I was speaking to the wrong person. Yeah. And so whenever I get rejected, I think it's also a mindset thing as well. But it's built this muscle where I've just been able to kind of keep bouncing back. And rejection has actually helped me become a lot more tougher that makes sense. So, you know, sometimes within business as well, it can feel as though there are times where you have these dips. And so because I've sort of had quite a few knockbacks, when I have those dips, because I've been able to bounce back again, I've become a lot stronger and able to deal with those dips a lot better. But also community has been really helpful as well. And so recognizing that actually the rejection is not always about you. Like sometimes you can feel that like it's me that's being rejected, but sometimes you're not getting rejected for you. It can be something that's even beyond yourself. It can be the other person. It could be the situation at the time. So it's almost like not taking rejection personally as well. However, taking that rejection and turning it into something that you can actually build from as well and grow from. So that's what I would say. It's just made me kind of be able to be a bit more resilient, a bit more tougher, and just helping to have the right community around me as well that can really help me navigate those situations as well. Yeah.
Can you think of a particularly uncomfortable action or something that felt particularly uncomfortable and cringy at the time, but then ended up leading to one of your biggest opportunities or something that really changed things up for you?
I feel like that's been like the story of the whole thing. Like everything has been cringy. Everything. I'm not even going to lie. Everything. Because imagine somebody that's really shy and then now you're in the space and doing work where you have to constantly talk to people and do sessions, right? So everything has been pretty much a cringy situation. But I've tried to look beyond that and again, look at what the bigger picture is and what the value is that I'm bringing. So I would say probably the first time that I did my first session, like I even had to speak to people or deliver a workshop, right? Off the back of that is actually recognizing what is actually within me, right? And so sometimes when you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you don't even know what's within you until you step into the thing. Yeah. And so that for me, uncomfortable, like not running away from uncomfortable situations has allowed me to be able to recognize my confidence, recognize the value that I bring, and also the people that I exist to serve through She Is You, through what I do. Yeah. So I do a lot of workshop facilitation. I do a lot of delivery, and sometimes it requires me to speak in rooms that I'm not always familiar with. Yeah. But in those settings has what has allowed me to be able to build and grow and overcome that sort of like cringy feeling. And it just actually lasts, it almost feels like it lasts for just a split second. But once you get through it, it kind of disappears. So, yeah.
So would you say public speaking is the most uncomfortable part?
Yeah.
Or something else?
Public speaking, absolutely. Like, I think it's actually one of the biggest fears that people have.
Yeah.
Like, speaking in front of people. Got some smiles and some nods. It really is, like, very, very cringy.
Like people in the UK, there's data out there to say they're more scared of public speaking than of dying.
Yeah.
Like, where we are at.
Like, literally. Yeah, literally.
Yes, Adriana?
Yeah, so basically, I got a question from Caroline, and I really love your name of your brand. It's like She Is You.
Thank you.
And I'm just thinking, like, what inspired that name?
Yeah.
First question. And number two is like, how do you manage to continue to see yourself in others, even when the values are not aligning? Yeah.
Good question.
Good question. So She Is You, the name. So she is you, yeah? So, and that could be he is you, whatever, right? The way the name came is, the idea of it is that as humans, as people, there are values and traits that we see in other people that are quite positive. And sometimes when we look at people, we compliment them, we see, oh, I like this about that person, I like that about that person. The reason why you can see those things in that person is because that trait, that positive trait, actually lies within yourself. Because somebody else can see that person and not see what you see. So she is you, right? So it's about untapped potential. It's about seeing the values that are within other people that you admire and recognizing that it's also within yourself, yeah? So that's where it comes from. It's almost like a mirror reflection. She is you, yeah? And then in terms of your question around when values don't align and how you can.
How you can continue to like almost see that reflection of yourself in another person, even when it's like the values are aligned, they're treating you in a way that is not pleasant, like just a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, like rude. What's that? Yeah.
It don't sound good. It doesn't sound like you do align.
Are you? Can you give me a bit more information? Is it like a client customer?
No, because I feel like the name of your brand is very inclusive.
Yeah.
But the world is not always embracing and inclusive for like people who
Yeah.
like things like values and beliefs and attitude kind of separate us from each other. I don't want to get deep.
Yeah. No. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like how do you continue to keep that reflection or like that untapped potential that you see in other people when the situation is not favorably like beneficial, not beneficial but pleasant. Yeah.
So I would say for me, I want to say kind of, everybody has something that's maybe not pleasant, or everybody has something, right? But I've kind of learned to see that whenever somebody is displaying a behavior or an attitude that is unpleasant, there's normally more to the story than what you can actually see. Does that make sense? So they could be kind of like rubbing you up the wrong way. I've learned not to take that personally, because everybody is carrying something of some sort. And so what I try to do is look through the lens of, again, that end goal, like that bigger picture. Does that make sense? And seeing beyond how they're treating me, but actually it's not always about how they're treating you. They're probably just going through a lot of things. There's a lot going on, right? And so even if they are rude, it's probably not you, you know? So it's almost like trying to take yourself out of the picture and just think with the lens of like, what is it that I'm trying to deliver? What's the vision? And actually what I'm bringing to that person might actually help them, yeah? But when it comes to values and stuff like that, so if you're kind of trying to work for an organization that doesn't align with your values, then maybe that's not the right organization to be linking up with, because, you know, affiliation is also really important, right? However, if it's a person that you feel is rubbing you up the wrong way, try to see beyond that, because it might not be you, right? So just try and speak to that, just try and surpass that and speak to what it is that you're trying to deliver to them. Yeah? Does that help? No?
Yeah, because it's different when you're in communion with a person and when you're in community with a person that is like you can't really take time off and like you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like in a physical setting with them?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is there a way, I mean, there may be times that maybe you don't have to conversate or communicate with them.
How would you deal with that in
Me, I would just, in my networking, I would just mind my own business. Honestly, yeah. Like really, yeah. Like it's not by force sometimes. It's really not. You know, just mind your own business, and that person's not everybody's for you. Do you understand? Right? So you don't have to please everybody. You don't have to be friends with everyone. Yeah? So as you journey through this business life and life in general, if somebody's not vibing with you, that's all right. You ain't my person then. Yeah? So, you know, just mind your business and just go talk to it. But don't let their behavior, attitude put you off. Just remember why you're there. Yeah? And fulfill your assignment there. Yeah?
Yeah, because when you have such a great, I just went through your social media.
Yeah.
I never what you're doing, but I feel like when you have such a big, massive, inclusive community,
Yeah.
space, like different people enter the space for like different purposes,
Yeah.
different needs of themselves.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time you're like, you're dealing with
Different
people.
people. Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I think also just trusting your conscience as well. We all have it, but sometimes I think we don't listen to it. Yeah, so of course you're going to meet different people, and a lot of people may not come with the right intentions. They may not be the right customer. They may not be the right partner. It doesn't mean that you can't have a conversation with them it might end in something positive, it might not. That's okay. And I think that's what we're talking about in terms of the journey of business. It's like there will be some rejections and stuff, but it's just important to understand who you are. And I think actually, just from hearing what we've been sharing, it's also there's something around identity that's really important as well when it comes to business and you as a founder and recognizing who you are, what you bring to the table and why you're doing what you're doing. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? And especially in the social media space, a lot of it is real, a lot of it's not real, you know? And so sometimes it's just kind of coming back to yourself. It almost starts and stops with you. Do you see what I mean? Everyone else can do what they're going to do, but you have to take responsibility for why you're doing what you're doing. And then just listening to your conscience sometimes. Yeah, like if you get someone or someone's come in and, you know, you don't really feel like it's really aligning, it's all right, you can shut that door. But there will be other people that are about you that will gravitate to what you're doing and believe in what you're doing. Yeah? Is that... That's all right. Pleasure.
So just one question. I've obviously been on doing this for quite some time.
Yeah.
Has there been a time where you've had to make some ethical sort of compromises?
It's a good question.
Because I think where my thought process is, I think,
Yeah.
yes, generally you have your value system, but you have what you
Yeah.
But I think more and more you are having to potentially navigate
Yeah.
where ethically you might not.
Yeah.
So if I give an example,
Yeah.
You might have a client that you don't necessarily ethically agree with,
Yeah.
but you see an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to grow, to move somewhere else, to your point, to maybe secure money to do better somewhere else. How, like, I'd be interested to know, like, an example when you've had that.
Yeah.
And how you've navigated that and how you kind of almost change the way you see or how you sort of decide how to assess things as you come forward.
Yeah. That's a really, really good question. I have been through that. Yeah, I have been through that. And it was, I think with hindsight, it was actually a mistake. Yeah, it was actually a mistake. But I think due to, I think slight naivety, is that the word? Mm-hmm. Naivety?
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so it was basically, it was sort of disclosing information about the business with an organisation that I felt could help and help to grow the business. So it was almost like, you know, your governance and things like that. That information is like gold dust, like it shouldn't be disclosed to the wrong parties, right? And I disclosed that to them and they ended up using the information for something that was really very much out of my value system. And it ended up kind of turning into something that was really messy. Yeah. And so with that, I think at the time, with hindsight now, you shouldn't have done that. There's certain things in the business that you need to keep to like your trustees or, you know, what they call...
What are you thinking? Advisors?
Advisors, exactly. And there should always be like a written agreement. So what I've come to learn when it comes to like partnerships and stuff like that, there should always be a written agreement so that you can always go back to that whenever things go left. So because there wasn't anything like that, it was very much just for kind of like...
just going like trusting
exactly. People? Yeah, just trusting them. That kind of took a left turn. Do you see what I mean? So what I would say is that always ensure that there is something in... And you probably already know this, but for me, it was a real hard... What do they say? Like, hard pill to swallow, you know, because it has kind of... It was made a real negative impact on a lot of things. But I've had to just kind of circumvent that, learn from it, and then just try and realign again, you know? So moving forward, I think I will tend to kind of like trust that thing that says, no, maybe do it this way, or maybe get some wise counsel before actually stepping out and doing certain things. Because I think I was very much just like, actually, no, they seem like they're a good person. They seem like they know what they're doing. Maybe just do a little bit more research, you know, ask another person and make sure that it's properly aligned before I take that step. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So,
And I think the following that, sorry.
yeah.
Just conscious of time.
Oh, yeah.
How we move to this, yes.
So just quick follow on, I guess how has that changed, like now, how you navigate?
Yeah, so now now there's literally everything. So I've just become a little bit more organized in terms of my governance and stuff. So everything, there is a record, there's a track record. So something I can pull from that says, okay, this. There's always something in writing. It's never just like through words or whatever, or, you know, there's always something that's documented that I can use at any point as a reference to what we're trying to do. Yeah, yeah.
So what are the key benefits you've experienced when transitioning to like a business mindset? Because I remember you said you started social, and then how do you stay grounded, like also balancing the social and business?
Balancing social.
Because like, you know, when you transition to business, you can become like full-on business, but then you have to remember that also it's a social enterprise as well.
Yeah, yeah. So the social enterprise bit is more about the delivery and the work. Yeah, so it's about running a business of social good, of social value. The business side of it is basically like the ingredients that allow you to be able to deliver a business of social impact, right? So the business side of it is very much what happens behind the scenes. Yeah, so it's about kind of obtaining the right information, is about having conversations with your team, is about strategy. Yeah, so the strategy, what your vision is for the year, your plan of action, what steps you need to take in order to deliver that. And then the social aspect is really about when you step into the scene or step into the place, is what you're delivering. That's the value. But in order for you to deliver that value and to obtain the reach that you want to obtain, the business side of it has to be in place. Does that make sense? So it's almost like two kind of different hats that you have to play, or that you're carrying at the same time. But sometimes one hat can be to the side, so you can be in your social hat whilst the business has been parked to one side. But other times you can have the business hat on and the social hat is parked to one side. So you're kind of like alternating sometimes, or sometimes it's one or the other.
Yeah, I was thinking like long term, even though like I might have started the business social enterprise myself and funded it, but there's like people in the team that be like pivotal for the business. Like say that there's somebody that posted on social media and it went viral. There's small things other people have done that's helped the business go forward. So like, how do you like show them that you appreciate them? Even if it's not financial, like maybe you could give them like a stake in the business or something like that.
Oh, okay. Stake in the business. Just be mindful of that. Not everybody deserves that, and I think you've got to really think and get some proper advice before you do that. But you can show appreciation for people just by maybe asking them for a testimonial. You can also maybe social media. You can put something on your website. You can take a picture, tag them in it. That also gives them reach. Yeah. So there are ways that you can show appreciation by just kind of thanking them on your platform or something like that. Or maybe even kind of saying that you might go back to them for some more work in the future. But staking your business, that just, exactly, yeah. Just be careful with that one, yeah?
As someone who started your business with a co-founder, have you had many instances where you disagree kind of on direction or decisions, and how would you go about that? Like, kind of, do you have your own strengths? Like, you're still working with them. Are there areas where they might deal with more or might have more input? Or how do you deal with if there's disagreements on like how you want to go about direction?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I started my business with my friend, and I would say that when you are co-founding a business with family or friends, it requires a different type of skill set, because you almost have to park the friend family to one side and focus on what it is that you're doing together within the business. So I don't know if anyone has started a business with a co-founder that's a friend before. Yeah. How's it been for you?
It's fine.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. It can get quite techy, but I think sometimes it does work, yeah? She's actually no longer involved as she was before, but we're still friends. But for us, she's a doctor and I am very much kind of like social impact. So our skills were able to complement each other. So I think what was helpful is that we knew what our skills were. So where I'm lacking in certain things, she was able to, like, structure. And obviously doctors, they've got kind of different type of mind, right? But I'm very much kind of like a bit more outgoing, a bit more spontaneous, but our skills were able to really align. And because we had the foundation of friendship, whenever things did go a bit wrong, we were able to have that conversation. But I think definitely when it comes to co-founding, communication is really, really important. And just being clear on what each party is bringing to the table at the very beginning. That's really, really important. Like, what are your skills? What are our skills? Because sometimes it can be very much complementary and it can really work. But what I find that sometimes with other co-founding partnerships, because communication and what they were trying to do at the beginning wasn't clear, things can get a little bit weird later on down the line. Yeah, so we never really had any things that were an issue. We just always would communicate. And then when it was time for her to kind of move on, it was okay because we had that foundation and that understanding. Yeah.
Tiana, also conscious of
Yeah.
5 minutes, so it's more of a fireside chat at this moment in time.
Okay.
Tiana?
Just two from me. You mentioned that earlier then from passion project.
Yeah.
To serious business.
Yeah.
What foundations did you have to lay down to make that transition, like mentorships and foundations in that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did everyone hear the question? Did everyone hear the question? Okay. Can you say it a bit louder, please?
So I said, earlier you mentioned going from passion project to serious business. What foundations did you have to lay down, like mentorships or like just foundations in the actual business?
Yeah. So the way I would talk about it was really important. Yeah. So I almost had to see it from a different lens and just doing practical things. So passion project, it was very much, I was doing a lot of free work. But if you're not making money in business, then it's not really a business, it's just a hobby. Yeah, so I had to make that shift. So once I was able to register it, like Companies House and make it like more official, it became more of a business to me. And then the way that I would speak about it also changed as well. So that shift was really important. And then the structure that I had in place. So it was very much just kind of like, whenever I get an opportunity, then I'll do that here. But what turned it into a business is actually having a strategy in place and having a sort of like 12-month plan, and this is what we're going to do this. And also how I was able to navigate the finances as well. So what's coming in, what's going out, expenses, and things of that nature. So the passion project, it's my baby, which it is, that kind of stuff. That happened for a season, but for me to move past that and start to make it more of a sustainable thing, I had to really shift how I approach it and put more of a structure and a strategy in place. Yeah.
Question 1.5.
Yeah.
The language you use when you were describing your business.
Yes.
Do you think making little changes, like instead of like when you're speaking to people,
Yeah.
it like, my small business.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I refer to mine, it's like, it's my baby.
Yeah.
So do you think that do you think shifting away from that language also helps?
Yeah, it does. It really does, because it also takes people. People take you more seriously. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? So don't undermine, even though your head you're thinking, I just started out like this thing is small. Like, don't undermine what you're doing. You can just say it's a startup. Yeah. Startup sounds better than a small business. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? Because if it's a startup, they know it's a small business. It's just started up. Yeah. So just reframing how you speak to people about what you're doing helps them take you more seriously, and also helps a shift in your mind to see it more as a business. Yeah. Like I really mean what I'm doing. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? Yeah.
And then the last one for me was how have you shifted your environment on your journey? How has shifting your environment on your journey helped you be successful outside of networking? Yeah. Because I find that like environment is such an important thing to be around, like finding people. Yeah. Iron sharpening iron. How has that, especially in like if you're in a situation where you might not be able to get out of certain environments, how have you found spaces that kind of pour into you and mind?
It's so important. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Environment is really, really important. So I've just tried to enter into certain communities, if that makes sense. So, like sometimes there'll be like a session about, I don't know, like founders, or there'll be like Eventbrite. I used to go to search Eventbrite and go to different events and just be around those people. but also try my best to make myself known. So you're not just kind of like behind the scenes, because sometimes when you speak up in those settings, they know who you are and you can get more from it. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So I would just kind of go to a lot of events, try and be consistent with those things, and just try and connect with one or two people and make those sort of like your accountability partners or people that can help you when you're sort of looking for information or help during different periods on your journey. And just try and make that more regular. So I would say, you know, if it's like once a week or twice a week, just try and make that regular, because sometimes we know how isolating it can be, you know, as a founder and then the journey. But when you kind of just try and just try and be present and go to those sessions, it does help a lot. That environment does help a lot. Yeah.
Last question, and then we're closing for the day. There's so much to touch on, but the questions have been great.
Yeah.
We'll still be around afterwards, so you can still speak to her afterwards. But conscious that we also have advice clinics, so this will be really, really beneficial for all of you. Marianne, last question.
Yeah, all right, I'm ready. Just about being clear, yeah? So when you first you have to explain what your business is, it didn't sound weird saying it out loud. How did you make sure to not sound nervous?
Practice, you know. Practice, yeah. Yeah, literally, just practicing, honestly. It's almost like, you know, like the more you do something, the better you become at it. It's literally that simple. Yeah, so it's just...
Yeah, because I think that this is a thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
So when you're in your brain, it sounds so beautiful, but then
Yeah.
you're asking, you're like,
Yeah.
You just don't know if you're sounding the same way
It's in your head, yeah. Have a trusted set of people or friends that can be honest with you, yeah, and practice with them, okay? The first couple of times when you're sharing the business with someone, if they have questions, that's actually a good thing. It means that they're interested in what you're doing, right? Yeah. But just try and make your, I guess, is it the mission or the vision or the strap line just really punchy, and just practice it. It almost kind of might be refined over time. But just have like a clear, you can even like write it in your notes or whatever, your note app, but just have a clear 30-second, this is who we are, this is what we do. And just make that the thing that you always say, right? And then get feedback on it. Does this make sense? Does this actually speak to what it is that I do? With people that you trust, that will be honest with you. And then the more you do it, the better you become at it. And if people have questions, don't worry about that. It just means that maybe you need to tweak it slightly. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. But I'm sure it's fine. It's fine.
So last question before we close off this Q&A. What's something you wish someone had told you when your confidence was at its lowest? Because we talked about cringe mountain so much today, and that's so much to do with confidence. But what's something you wish someone had told you in those really low confidence moments?
In those low confidence moments, something I wish somebody would have told me. So in those low confidence moments, sometimes you can talk yourself out of doing stuff because you feel like, oh, I don't have it all together, or having a rough day or whatever. But I think just do it anyway. So I wish somebody would have told me, actually, on the other side of you having those low moments, you'll be surprised at what you can become. And also, I call it like, put on your big girl pants, put on your big girl whatever, you know, and just do it. So I wish somebody would have told me, like, don't wait to be ready. And because if you're anything like me, you know, it's like as a creative as well, there's this whole perfectionist, it's got to be this way, because if you have something in your eye of how you want it to be, but actually don't wait to be ready. Just do it anyway. Use what you have, use the ingredients that you have, and just step out anyway. As you step out, things will be refined, things will get better, but just step out anyway. Yeah? So that's what I wish somebody would have said to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing so much with us.
My problem.